Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love college football as much as I do. If you want to see the shorter version of this video, you're free to go check out my TikTok page. It's about 2 minutes and 50 seconds long. I had to make a longer version for YouTube because I simply just didn't want it to be a short on YouTube. I wanted to make it at least 3 minutes or longer so it can actually be a full-out video. I get why some Auburn fans are not very high on Jackson Arnold being the quarterback for Auburn. I get all that. I mean, he did have a lot of turnovers at Oklahoma. He cost the team some games. He got benched a few times. But I will say this. Think about these names I'm about to bring up for y'all, okay? Bo Nix and Jalen Hurts. What do those quarterbacks have in common when it comes to college football? Let's start with Bo Nix, since he played for us, actually. I think any Auburn fan would be willing to say, well, he did win some games for us. He played pretty well for the most part, but he definitely was not a Heisman caliber quarterback. I mean, he did make mistakes. He got hurt sometimes. I didn't think he was really that good. That's what they would say about him. And then he transfers to Oregon. I'm sure a lot of Oregon fans weren't thrilled to have him either. But then what happened? New coaching staff, new head coach, a lot of talent around him that he probably didn't have as he would have liked at Auburn. I'm an Auburn fan, so I can say that. And just a new system overall. And then what happened? He ended up being a Heisman Trophy runner-up. He had a successful career at Oregon. He won a Holiday Bowl, and he won a Fiesta Bowl in his career at Oregon. He did a really good job. He might have had a few records, actually. And his accuracy with the football was really good, something that we didn't see a whole lot of at Auburn. He had a lot of turnovers. And then Jalen Hurts, his story. He was at Alabama. And the thing about him was he won a lot of games, but people said he could not throw the football very good. And that proved to be true up until about 2017. 2018, he ended up sitting behind Tua Tagovailoa, who was the guy that brought Alabama back against Georgia after being down 13-0 in the national championship game back in 2017. Jalen Hurts, when he did get into games, it was clear that his passing ability was better, but you could see why he was not the starter, And then in the SEC championship, they're down to Georgia again, and Tua goes down. Jalen gets in. He does throw the ball pretty well and does more than enough to bring his team back to win the game that lead them to the college football playoff undefeated. And then he transfers to Oklahoma. What happens? Different head coach, different system, different offensive scheme and everything, and it was tailored to meet his needs. And he ended up throwing the football. Now, again, he wasn't a Baker Mayfield or anything like that, but you could clearly tell that he was a good passer. He had what it took to get better, and he did. Look what he's doing in the NFL, and he did really well. He ended up being a Heisman finalist within 1 year at Oklahoma, and I thought that was very impressive, and he was clear, and he was a leader like he is now. So my point is, you see this happen quite a bit, actually, and I think Jackson Arnold, nothing against Brent Venables. I think he's done a good job at Oklahoma considering he hasn't been a head coach anywhere else, and he didn't really inherit the best situation with Lincoln Riley leaving like that, but he might not be the best fit to hit Jackson Arnold's needs and build him to be a better quarterback. He just might not be. He might not have the right system for him. And you got to also factor in that Oklahoma had a lot of injuries at wide receiver, so you imagine that affects your quarterback play. Because they threw in another quarterback too, and he played well at times, and he also got benched back and forth with Jackson Arnold. So you can't really say it was all Jackson Arnold's fault, He was turnover prone at times, but again, when he comes to Auburn and starts playing for Auburn, Hugh Freeze has coached a lot longer than Brent Venables, and right now I know Hugh Freeze's ceiling. I would say he's good enough to get them to a playoff one day, maybe win his conference. If Auburn's ever going to be in contention for a national championship, it would be with Hugh Freeze, most likely. That's my point. And look, Auburn has a lot of talent there. Look at the last few recruiting classes that Hugh Freeze has recruited. He's done an amazing job recruiting. He's always done that anywhere, even at Ole Miss when he was there. And he's a proven winner. And it's the perfect system for Jackson Arnold. Run pass options a lot, QB runs, throw the football downfield, make some plays, and they have a lot of good players there. So, again, new system, different team, a great football fan base. I actually support Jackson Arnold, and I expect him to be very successful. I definitely think he's more than good enough to upset teams at home like Georgia and Alabama. So, War Eagle, I'm a supporter of him.